The goal of this video is to show you how to duplicate an angle. We're going to use 4 simple steps. The directions say to duplicate angle ABC and call the new angle JKL. We're going to do this in 4 steps. The first step is to draw a ray, and we're going to label this ray with a K. That's going to be the end point. Next, we're going to draw an arc from our original point B, and whatever we do to the original, we're going to do on our new ray. So we're going to make an arc from point K. Our third step is the hardest step because it doesn't really, it's not as natural as the other steps. This is a step that students often forget what to do when they get to this step. So make sure to start it so that you remember what to do. We're going to draw an arc from C to A, and then what we're going to do, that'll basically find the distance from C to A, and whatever we do on the original we'll have to do on my new drawing. So that's going to be draw an arc from L to J. That'll give us our point J. So then the last thing we'll have to do is just draw a ray from K through J. So let's see what this looks like. I'll move the directions out of the way and I'll just kind of make this work. So as you can see, we have our original angle. The very first step is to draw a ray. I'm just going to draw it right down here. Remember that a ray has an arrow at the end of it. It has an endpoint, and I'm going to label that endpoint K, because K is the vertex of my new angle that I'm going to make. Secondly, I'm going to draw an arc from B. This arc from B just needs to intersect both of the other segments here. So I'm going to use number 29. Remember that whenever you draw an arc, you should always label what number it is. Just say hashtag 29 to say that you use number 29. Whatever I do on my original, I'm also going to do on my new image. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to use K, and I'm going to pick number 29. If I'm using an acute angle, I can make kind of an acute arc, but if I have an obtuse angle, like maybe the following example, I'll have to make this arc a lot bigger in order to incorporate the obtuse angle. Okay, so I've now done steps 1 and 2. Remember, step 3 was kind of a hard one. So before this, I'm going to take a moment. Wherever this arc intersects something, it's kind of an interesting place. So I'm going to end up labeling these A, B, and C. If I come to my other one, that means that I have point K. I also have point L over here. So my third step, I know where points K and L are at, which is kind of like B and C. I still need to find the associated point that goes with A. It's going to be up here somewhere, but I need to figure out exactly where it is. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to find the distance from C to A, and I'm going to transfer that distance down here from L up to wherever J is going to be. So put your vertex on point C. This is point C, and what we're going to do is we're going to spin around maybe this inner circle here until you find a place where there's a circle that intersects my point. For me, that's number 15. Again, if you're within one of that, I think you're doing just fine. So I'm going to label this number 15. Okay. Next, I'm going to come here. I'm going to put my vertex on L. That's the associated point with K. And I'm going to move my inner circle here till 15. I'm going to make a little arc. I'm going to label that number 15. Remember that you should always label something whenever you make an arc. Just make sure to label it. And wherever the arcs intersect something interesting happens there, I'm going to label that as my point J. So I now have J, K, and L. My final step, I just need to draw an arc from K through J. So here's from K through J. I'm just going to draw a ray really fast through here. Remember that a ray has an arrow at the end of it. Just as we look at this angle ABC should be congruent to this angle JKL. Then I can write that in 2 different ways. I can say angle ABC is congruent to angle JKL. Or I can talk about the measurements of the angles. The measurement of angle ABC, some number, is going to be equal to the measurement of angle JKL. This tells me that the numbers, like 35 degrees and 35 degrees, are equal to each other. Remember that numbers are equal where geometric things are congruent. So the angles are congruent. The numbers that represent how big or how small they are can be equal. This is how you duplicate an angle.